morning. We are going to start today with some singing, some music, and you will have a formal welcome later. But we're going to start with the song, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And I just want to introduce Rick Flores, who is our special guest today. And the Beacon Choir will be singing. But for now, why don't you stand or rise in body or spirit and join in as we sing these words by Rumi. Here we go. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Wanderers, worshippers, lovers of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, 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 whoever you are, come, come. 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 Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come, even if you have broken some promises. Here we go. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come.
Wow, thank you, Misa. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Beacon Choir. Thank you, all of you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Beacon. My name is Tuli Patel. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And today I'm wearing a white and purple muslin. We call it a kurta, and the pants are called shalwars. I am a plus-sized woman from South Asia with short, graying hair. What else can I tell you? That's it. That's good for now, right? Good. So today is an interesting day for us. We have a bunch of staff people out sick, so we send them wishes to get well, not thanks, wishes to get well and speedy recovery. But thanks to the team that has stepped up, including members of our lifespan team, Kendall and Jen Scarter-McCann and Doug Freeman and Larcy Cooper are going to be tending to the children after the candle lighting. And then later on today at the annual meeting, which is at 11:30, there will be childcare because people from our team have stepped up to attend to the children so the parents can also attend. I had a nightmare last night, which was an interesting harbinger opening the newspaper this morning. But it was mostly that we wouldn't make quorum at the annual meeting. Who knows what our quorum is? Yes, Debbie.
There's a lower limit that you have to have for the number.
What's the number? Somebody else? What's our quorum? Yeah. 50 people. So I need 50 of you to show up, and you are going to turn my nightmare into a dream by making 100 people show up, right? Yes, we're going to show up for the annual meeting at 11:30. So welcome. This is Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Summit. We pitch a very broad theological tent. Under that tent gather theists. Anybody? Also, but first, theists. Anybody is a theist? There we go. How about atheists? How about, me too. How about agnostics? How about Christians? Buddhists? Muslims? maybe Sikhs, Hindus. We pitch a very broad theological tent. So how can we gather under this tent when we have so many different perspectives that we come from? We gather because we share values. Values of love at the center, and the values are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence. Yeah, we did it, people. Give yourselves a... See, the more you do this, the more you understand what they're about, right? And then when you start thinking about, oh, justice, what does justice look like? Pluralism, what does pluralism look like? Pluralism looks like that broad theological tent. But this is the welcome, not the sermon, so I'll stop.
Keep going.
It's that kind of day when Robin gives over the preaching to me. Anyway, I invite you for now to take a deep breath. Oh, if you're joining us online, say hi in the chat, and someone will be able to welcome you so that we can get to know you a little bit better. And for all of those of you who came out here today, take a deep breath in, settle yourselves in comfortably, and let us begin our worship together with our chalice light.
Good morning again. My name is Rachel Radzewski. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a 40-something white woman, shoulder-length brown hair, and kind of a red, flowery, black bohemian dress today, just enjoying the summertime. May I have a volunteer to help light our chalice for today?
With a pride candle.
Ooh, bonus Sunday. A volunteer? Yes, thanks. Come on up. Thanks, Chris. So we kindle our chalice in honor of pride. From rainbow flags and leather rhinestone-studded vests, as the feather boas leave a rainbow trail on the streets this month, with emotion contained or glitter bombs that explode from your animated jazz hands, whether offered in a whisper or sung with a full bravado, whether the light, tender touch of love incarnate or steady hand of the ally in solidarity. Give us now the light to live with a pride that affirms the worth and dignity within the diversity of humanity, of the whole person, the collective of communities, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, cisgender, intersex, and heterosexual, asexual, allies, aromantic, agender. May we bow to that light with a humble awareness, that we be not judge of worth, but rather fortunate witness to the ferocity of spirit and tenacity of life. So we kindle the light with a promise to let it shine in honor of pride for all siblings of this earth. We love you. We love us. Shine on.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Chris, for lighting the chalice. So today is the day in the year when we recognize our leaders and volunteers. Our congregation is at its core a shared ministry. It is not one only for those ordained or with special training or even those elected, but a ministry enlivened by the energy and life force of those who share freely and lovingly of their gifts and time and talent. And I will in advance beg your forgiveness if we miss anybody, but we have space to make sure that nobody's missed.
This year, we experienced incredible change and challenge from the politics in our country, the challenges to our religious values, and yet each of you who volunteered were steady and amazing. You took your light under bushels and brought them out to corners and niches so that the warmer, deeper glow was cast, beckoning others to our faith. And this is what shared ministry does, beloved. Shared ministry, almost a phrase that seems redundant in this community, because all of the ministry we do here is shared. And for that gift, we truly, deeply say thank you.
So what we're going to do now is to ask you to rise if you are able. If you're not able to rise, then you would raise your hand. If your hand gets tired, you would raise it intermittently.
Good point.
Okay.
Yep.
So today we honor the Board of Trustees. If you're on the board, would you please rise? The nominate. Oh, we want to. So yes. So wait, please remain standing. You
Yep.
can sit and stand intermittently if you get tired. But we're going to hold our applause, but the board definitely needs its own applause. So now we're
Yeah.
going to hold our applause. The nominating committee, the finance committee, endowment committee, widening the circle, the bylaws task force, the facilities expansion task force, the property and missional valuation task forces, capital campaign champions,
Welcome team, including our ushers. Worship team, including our worship associates. Music team. Membership team. Chaplains. Facilities consultants. Beacon Cafe hosts. Stewardship team. Harvest Delight team. Communications team. Writing group. Poetry group. Christian Mystic Study Group, Tri-Partnership Team, Meditation Groups, those who make the weekly deposits of money, Choir, Lifespan Team, Youth Leaders, Adult Guides for Children and Youth, Volunteers at the First Unitarian Beacon Food Pantry,
community group team and community groups. That should be a lot of you. Running and Being, world religions, social justice teams including reproductive justice, climate justice, LGBTQI plus justice, Chancellor Avenue School, and sanctuary refugee response teams. Summit Warm Hearts and Neighborhood Beacon, Beacon Hope and Advisory Group, the Plainfield Advisory Group, the Divorce Support Group, the Caregivers of Loved Ones with Dementia Group, the Beacon Hope and Equity Center Board, the Afternoon Music Board. And now, if we forgot your group, because we are also human, would you call it out, please?
Community group team and facilitators.
Yes, we did community groups, but thank you.
Pointed.
Somebody
Yeah.
else? Anybody else that we forgot? Okay, thank you. And anyone who has ever subbed as a backup, a volunteer, who showed up and pitched in, thank you. That should be all of you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Everybody
go on,
up.
Go on. And now, please. Thank you. You may be seated. You may be seated, and each one of you should have a litany in your hands. If it's not handed out, could the ushers, do we have spare litanies to hand out to people? Maybe we can share. Do people upstairs need a litany? So
You need
Robin and I will read the non-italicized part, and you are invited to read the italicized words. Does that make sense? Do you all not have upstairs, or do you have? Oh. Wait.
I think someone's coming with, yeah. Tim's getting the litanies. You'll see your response is such that you'll catch on, promise. When there was a need, you came forward.
And so we thank you. In nighttime or daytime, on weekends, and even in the coldest, darkest part of the year, you helped.
And so we thank you. Elected and duly appointed, or quietly, anonymously, and unbidden, you did what needed doing.
And so we thank you. Sometimes with the help of many hands, other times alone, you worked.
And so we thank you. You gave your time, talent, and even your treasure for the life of the congregation.
And so we thank you. Your families and loved ones supported you in your efforts, worried for you when things piled up, and perhaps grumbled at you for the extent of your commitment.
So we thank your families and loved ones. For all things great and small you have given this congregation, we take time today now, beloved, to recognize, to thank you, and to honor you.
We're going to sing together on hymn number 318 in the hymnal. If you need one, I do believe there are more available, so if you raise your hand, we will be able to help you get that. I see in the back they do need some more. Today we're making a congregation. This particular group of people will never probably meet, this exact group of people, so we're going to celebrate not only Beacon at large, but the fact that we were able to gather online and in the room as we sing, "We Would Be One." I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing.
Good morning. My name is Kit Stinson, she, her, and I have the honor of serving as your chaplain today. More about chaplains in a minute, but I'm going to go briefly off script. Quelle surprise, as my daughter would say, complete with eye roll. Just about 24 hours ago, Beacon and Christ Church Summit partnered to put on a fundraising drag show. Right where I am standing, 3 exuberant drag queens danced and sparkled and lip-synced joy all over this place, including up in the balcony. And out in the sanctuary where many of you are sitting, people from kindergarten age to, well, my age, danced and clapped and sparkled right along with them. One of the performers told us that she had fled her home in another state because she couldn't feel safe or accepted there. She said if there had been churches like Beacon where she came from, everything might have been different for her. Right after this service, we're going to gather for Beacon's annual meeting. There will be minutes and spreadsheets and parliamentary procedures, sure.
So exciting, Kit.
Very much so. Like, I can hardly contain myself, actually. But underneath all that, there are human beings working together to build a place of safety and acceptance where pride is the opposite of shame. I am a Beacon chaplain, as this burgundy-colored stole indicates. Chaplains are trained volunteers of all ages and life experiences who share a call to listen, to heal, and to create compassionate connection within the community. If you would like to be connected with a chaplain, please see me or any member of the ministry team, or check the Beacon website. Chaplains also lead the weekly candle lighting ritual, which will be a little different today. Reverend Robin and Dr. Tooley will tell you all about that. But I would ask that we, even mentally, light a candle of gratitude for everyone, staff and volunteers alike. Oh, you don't have to do it mentally. We're going to do it in 3 dimensions. Who work to make this a place of comfort and acceptance in an unsafe world, a place where we support one another in choosing pride over shame.
Thank you, Kit. You will have a chance to light candles, I promise. I could feel the tension building in the room. Did you watch the news? I'm not going to get to light my candle. Yeah. And I got so excited earlier about our practice of gratitude that I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Reverend Robin. My pronouns are she, her. I am a middle-aged white woman with brown hair, and I am wearing my rainbow-colored stole today for Pride, and I have some glittery rainbow earrings, sparkles on my glasses, and when I turn around, you'll see the sparkles on the back of my heels because they can't take my sparkle. Yeah. And they can't take your sparkle either. And we're going to add a little sparkle this day. So we are celebrating Pride. Pride in our full, fabulous selves. A colleague taught me the other day about the power of saying the words. So I wonder if you can say that with me. Pride in our full, fabulous selves. In a world where so much can disrupt and disconnect us from our full, fabulous selves, this time, this sanctuary for all people, this circle of beloveds, is a place of reclaiming and reconstructing. Here we affirm lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex as allies and all-inclusive. We affirm, celebrate, and bless you. So I'm going to offer a blessing in a moment, and then as we begin our candle lighting time, Dana Moore, our phenomenal youth coordinator and soon to be membership coordinator, who's here today, congregational coordinator, is going to offer a blessing to you if you want it before you take a candle from Rachel and get a light. That sounds like talking about something else, Kit. Sorry about that. And I promise you, this is hypoallergenic, it's biodegradable, and it's vegan. It's all the things, and it's not been tested on animals. Took a long time to find this special UU glitter that meets all the requirements. So,
Wait, is it edible?
if you want to try, I didn't, yeah. So we're going to offer a blessing either on your hand or your forehead, you select. And if you don't want a blessing this day, that's okay too. You can just kind of do one of these motions and go ahead and light a candle. But I do want to say before I offer the words of this blessing, this is a magnification of what is already within you. It is not a blessing to erase or change you. This is an acknowledgement of your worth and your dignity, the sparkle that is within you that no one can take away. And so our Pride blessing. May the rainbow shine brilliance upon your beautiful being. The feather boas fall soft upon the well-marked streets of freedom. May drag shows sparkle all year long. May pronouns and chosen names shine warm upon your face. the harsh words or harmful actions no more than dust beneath the strength of rhinestone-studded, well-worn work boots. May allies and beloveds hold you in your fullest wholeness. May the joy as resistance and inclusion as embodied love transform our world. May lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex allies, and all the queer ancestors smile bright upon our gatherings. May pride remind us once more of the magic and the strength in being human. And now, beloved, I invite you forward for this glitter blessing with safe, biodegradable glitter, after which you are invited to light a candle. And there are so many candles, indeed, we could light this day. Ooh, there you go.
Thank you all. Thank you, Rick. Children 5th grade and under are welcome to go downstairs if they would like to do so.
And as the sound tablet is exchanged, I invite Sammy forward for our testimonial.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Sammy Korean. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I guess I'm sporting slightly inverted glasses because I sat on them a couple months ago. Green khakis and a shirt that reads, "That's a horrible idea. What time?" I've recently been wondering about how, when we change the way we see the world we see changes. As active co-constructors of our life experience, we are not mere characters puppeteered by the scriptwriters of a society external to ourselves. Rather, we are the authors and storytellers of our own novels and narratives, key playwrights in the productions of the collective theater that is our world. One of the stories intrinsic to our minds, or at least the Western educated mind, what we might call the cisgender mind, is the storyline of diametric opposition. The antiquated definition of gender as strictly male and strictly female is a case in point of our tendency to compartmentalize life into dichotomies and dualities, either or fallacies, to balkanize reality into neat and linear black and white boxes. Even as far back as 2,500 years ago, wisdom traditions of non-Western origins, such as Chinese Taoism, theorized that gender was a spiritual rather than biological phenomenon. In chapter 28 of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu instructs the Taoist practitioner as follows: hold your male side with your female side. Hold your bright side with your dull side. Your high side with your low side. Then you will be able to hold the whole world. Articulating the Taoist concept of yin and yang, Lao Tzu implores the reader not to make arbitrary discriminations of thought between extremes, but to appreciate the harmonious dance between opposites. For we can only define things in relation to their relative counterparts. Life can be understood only in the context of death. In-groups are defined only in comparison to some outgroup. The melody of a musical work is comprehended against the backdrop of the harmony or the bass line. But this is not a purely binary principle. Life, as with gender, is not bipolar, but bimodal. When we attempt to blueprint people by dividing them up into categories, we objectify them. We overlook the totality of the person, their unique wholeness and spiritual gifts. And the ways in which we relate to each other spill into how we self-relate. When we dehumanize each other, we dehumanize ourselves. I stumbled upon an article last week entitled, "Wealth is the Health of Your Community." Now, many of us have heard before that health is wealth, but I'd never before considered that the health of one's web of relationships is what constitutes true affluence. The sense of communal belonging, deep connection, and mutual understanding nurtured in a healthy community is a wealth that extends beyond measure, something priceless and invaluable. The ecologist Robin Wall Kimmerer encapsulates this radical reframing of currency in her book, Service Bearing. Gift economies are an antecedent alternative to market economies, another way of organizing ourselves to sustain life. In a gift economy, wealth is understood as having enough to share, and the practice for dealing with abundance is to give it away. In fact, status is determined not by how much one accumulates, but by how much one gives away. The currency in a gift economy is relationship, which is expressed as gratitude, as interdependence, and the ongoing cycles of reciprocity. A gift economy nurtures community bonds that enhance mutual well-being. The economic unit is we rather than I, as all flourishing is mutual. But even the term giving away seems incomplete for me. For to truly give is to give in such a way that giving is receiving. An investment for the entire community does not exclude oneself, for oneself is an integral player of the community, without whom the community would not exist in the same way. If we pour ourselves into an other-centric approach to well-being without equally nurturing ourselves, we will suffer compassion fatigue because we have misunderstood that true generosity is neither external nor internal, but omnidirectional. As I steadily approach my impending high school graduation, whereupon I'll be thrust into the messy churnings of the real world, I offer a challenge to myself and to each of you here today. That challenge is to continue to radically undermine the hyper-individualism which has metastasized in our society without eradicating the importance of self-compassion. When we see ourselves in each other, the distinction between the extremes of self-interest and selflessness evaporates because there is fundamentally no contradiction between self and other. We are different, but we are not separate. The volunteers among us who wholeheartedly embody the humility of leadership know that by decentering ourselves, we discover ourselves, and we end up most personally fulfilled when we open to one another. Beacon, you hold a magical place in my heart, and I will forever cherish the knowledge of interdependence that you have nurtured in me, and that we all somatically hold in the marrow of our bones. Thank you.
Beloved, that testimony right there is why our youth ministry matters more than ever. Thank you, Sammy. I'd like to invite Laura Kramer forward before our offering is most gratefully received.
Hi. All good? Joelle is about to sing a song from a musical for which I wrote the music and co-wrote the book. It's called Letter to Harvey Milk. I wrote the music. The lyrics are by Ellen Schwartz. This takes place in 1982, San Francisco. Joelle will be singing a song by Barbara. The character Barbara sings. She is a writing teacher who has been disowned by her family for being a lesbian. And Barbara has one student in her writing class, an older straight white man, cisgender, who was friends with Harvey Milk, which Barbara is thrilled about. Throughout the class, Barbara compels this character to write about his life. And he finally turns the tables on her. I've told you everything about my relationship with my wife. What about you? What have you experienced? And this is Barbara's response. The song is called Love is a Woman.
Love is a woman, she taught me at last, though I felt I was over my head. I wanted to run, but her arms held me fast, as love found its home in our bed. Gently she covered the pain of my past, and showed me my future instead. Lover, my lover, you opened the door to a place I was longing to go. Each day that we shared left me wanting you more, through lilacs and roses and snow. Learning from you what my lips were for, I needed you more than you know. Dizzy with love, I flew too high above, and I crashed when the dream fell apart. I discovered a note, you'll recover, she wrote. But I haven't recovered my heart. Love is a body that's made like my own. That's a truth she allowed me to see. Though she was the first and the last love I've known, I hope once again I'll fly free. She unlocked my heart, and she gave me the key to who I've become and to all that can be. When love is a woman,
This is a reading from a panel. Quote, "Are you still a slave? Liberating the Black female body." Interview with bell hooks.
And it opens with a question from the interviewer. Belle, you were not interested in talking about Beyonce and feminism. I was just sort of wondering, how do we understand and acknowledge a historical trajectory of Black women being subject to sexual colonization and exotization, but also create a liberatory, sex-positive framework for Black women in ways that honor our sexual agency?
And bell hooks responds, "I think that's the critical question. What is that? What does that liberatory sexuality look like? I mean, let me theorize that it may very well be that celibacy is the face of the liberatory sexuality, that I would rather not be sexual than to be." There was laughter from the audience there. She continues on, "I'm trying to be futuristic here, but what does it mean to be able to say, I'd rather not be sexual than to be sexual in any context where I'm being mistreated, where I have doubt, where my feelings are not, where I am triggered as an abuse survivor or what have you? I mean, I'm just posing. What are our choices as we think about our journeys to sexual freedom? What choices do we have? People don't ask me much. I guess I'm getting old. They used to ask me who I was having sex with and try to write it on the walls and stuff, but I identify myself as queer, gay, and I came up with this one with one of my white colleagues, lesbian colleagues, where we were saying that all of our lives we've experienced ourselves as queer, as not belonging, as the essence of queer. I think of Tim Dean's work on being queer. Queer as not being about who you're having sex with, that can be a dimension of it, but queer as being about the self that is at odds with everything around it and has to invent and create and find a place to speak and to thrive and to live. I gotta go home and just think about how just mentioning celibacy troubled the waters."
Oh, beloved, it is good to be here with you today. Some weeks, I feel like this is my little dose of recentering and hope for the week. Anyone else feel the same? I'm glad to not be alone in that. And today we gather at a particular frightening time. An executive order from the president. The National Guard has been dispersed within California against their governor's request to not do so. And here we are at the beginning of Pride, knowing Jonathan Joss was murdered. It is hard to know how to be, oh, it looks like there's some mic setup going on. Yeah, if we can just wait 1 sec. I just have a couple words. I promise it won't be that long. I feel like I'm getting the cues. They're going to start playing the piano. Like, I just started. All right. We take that 1 hour service very seriously here. Very seriously. So it is the beginning of Pride, and already we have the news of a hate crime with the murder of Jonathan Joss. It's hard to know how to be joyful and celebratory, as the theme of this month calls for. And that's why I've been thinking of bell hooks. She's been teaching me all over again. Queer is being about the self that is at odds with everything around it and has to invent and create and find a place to speak and to thrive and to live. So how can the practice of being at odds, of being queer, give us life today? Queer, a word in which itself was weaponized and taken back. You know, it's obvious, right? Celebration isn't always the face of the queer and trans community, okay? From protests and rallies for our basic rights to fear in our workplace and hurt in our families, much of our time is often spent in working to repair this world, to make things better, not only for ourselves, but for countless others living in silence and pain. Much of our time is spent also going to funerals and lighting candles in memory of yet another beloved. I still remember my very first Pride Festival. It was upstate New York. I was 19 years old then, and I was fairly terrified because in upstate New York at that time there had been some terrible hate crimes perpetrated just as Pride was beginning yet again, and I was newly out. And my welcoming congregation, a Unitarian Universalist congregation in Rochester, New York, had been vandalized. 2 women a week later had been beaten and windows were shattered in LGBTQ affirming shops. But the Pride Parade went on, and as I arrived there, I noticed that I was shaking in the midst of this jubilation and uproar and rainbow streamers. I looked at my hands, and they were filled with tremors. I had gotten a rainbow t-shirt and even tie-dyed my sneakers rainbow, and I just felt like a target out in the open. But the women of my congregation, most of whom were not lesbian or identifying as queer, they ushered me into a line before I could run back to my car. They said, "Here, help hold the banner." And it's amazing when your hands are shaking if someone asks you to hold something. It actually does help. And so I held the banner, and I just kept thinking, why are we marching? Why are we doing this celebratory thing? We shouldn't be out here. I could hear the protesters, and I saw their megaphones, and they felt like the roar of a train in comparison to our small little gathered group and our flimsy little banner flapping in the wind. But we started marching. And then we started singing. Singing Holly Near's song, "Singing for Our Lives." We have sung it here. As we rounded a corner, the protesters were on both sides of us, and it felt like an echo chamber. And then someone threw a can of soda from the protesters, and it landed in front of my feet and exploded and started to spin, and it felt like everyone was panicking. If you've ever been in a march, turning a corner is not an easy thing to begin with. But when you're doing it with people screaming at you, it's terrifying. And I lost the tune of the song, and I stopped singing, and then my feet stopped moving. And that was when one of the older women in our congregation, I felt her hand on my shoulder, and she leaned in and said, "Just keep singing." It was like a scene out of Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So I just kept singing. And soon my feet followed my voice, and we were marching. And we all had the song again, and we were together, and we were celebrating. And those protesters felt like they were 1,000,000 miles away. That was the moment my movement began. Not because of rage or even because of my acting in self-defense, but because in that woman's eyes who said, "Just keep singing," I saw people choosing to behave differently than the conditions that they were given. In the words of Adrienne Rich, what would it mean to stand on the first page of The End of Despair? What would that mean today? If today was the day you stood on the first page of The End of Despair. Not because there was some glorious evidence to do otherwise, not because somebody tweeted something that allowed you to believe it was all going to be all right, not because there was a sweeping change in the land, but maybe because in someone's voice you heard, "Just keep singing." A decade later, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and because of a little article shared about my having a partner, I was plunged into both the intensity of protesters at my home and invitations to every queer event in town. It was an interesting juxtaposition. It was very popular. I was invited to co-lead a trip to Washington, D.C. to take couples from Charlotte to D.C. to obtain marriage licenses because it was not yet legal in North Carolina. So we went there, members of Temple Bethel, Holy Covenant, United Church of Christ, and the congregation I was then serving, Piedmont UU Church. We went there to the nation's capital to obtain the license, which seemed so strange from the position we were in to even ask for. We were there with couples who'd been together for 20 years, 30 years, one couple 42 years. And there we went into this fluorescent lit office with a smiling government official issuing a marriage license like it was any old Friday. I remember she looked almost exactly like Tammy Faye Baker. And I was thinking, this is different than how I imagined this moment. And so the couples handed their identification and signed a piece of paperwork, and then she passed them back a license and explained how they had to return the copies, and it was all very boring. And that was remarkable to me. The next day, we officiated their weddings. And we went back to North Carolina, all very queer, all determined to live at odds with the conditions that we were given, to create something different, and we became the plaintiffs on a case that challenged the state constitutional amendment, that overturned that constitutional amendment and brought marriage equality to North Carolina. So it is to say, I know a little something about being queer. I know a little something about living at odds with the conditions you are given and that leading to change. That day that marriage equality came to North Carolina, we gathered for a big celebration with all of the plaintiffs, and before the service started, Reverend Dr. Nancy Ellett Allison, a dear colleague of mine, a big ally in the movement, she said, I just want to have a word with everyone. And so she talked to all the couples, and she began by congratulating all of us, and then she said, so I want you to remember this moment. And everyone kind of looked at her, and she said, and I want you to stand up right now. And we all stood up, and we had no idea why. And she said, you now have privilege. So when the next fight comes, don't you dare sit down. And we didn't. And when the bathroom bill and the attacks on the trans and queer community grew force in North Carolina, we didn't sit down. We went back to the courts. We got ourselves a new governor. And we fought. Yesterday, as Kit said, we held our annual drag show, and honestly, at the beginning of it, I wasn't feeling very sparkly. I left my blue glasses at home. And I thought, oh, what difference does this make? And then we heard the testimony. And then the DJ at the show pulled me aside and he said, you know, you're showing up today, it matters. It matters. Because somebody out there doesn't believe that they matter anymore. And he said, you know what? That somebody is here in this room. That was me. And your showing up today helped me matter. Queer, as in behaving differently than the conditions we are given. Imagining the world anew. This is the sacred call that Pride reminds us of. This is why we gather with those wings and motorcycles with rainbow streamers to remind ourselves that the world should not be like the conditions that we are given today. The rainbow colors of this flag, they fly against the summer sky, brilliant singing in protest, reminding us of the beauty and freedom that should be. So I charge you today, Beacon, don't be a congregation that fits in. Don't go with the fascist flow. Never thought I'd say that. We are strongest and most deeply connected to our sacred spark and the spark of our spiritual ancestors when we dare to be queer, when we refuse the terms of engagement, when we decline the rules of the day, when we resist the oppression and the harm, when we will not turn away, when we will not sit down, but instead we have pride in our collective humanity. And when we have the courage in the midst of fear, because courage is not some magical condition where you ain't afraid anymore. Courage is the decision to act otherwise than you feel. When we have that courage to declare, we are here, we are queer, and we ain't going nowhere. Amen? Amen.
All right, so we're so happy to have the Beacon Choir here today. Thank you for an incredible year of music. It's been such a pleasure. Amen. And I also want to just say another thanks to Rick Flores, who is an incredibly gifted musician and is working on multiple Broadway shows right now, and conducted a show last night. He's going back for rehearsal, is conducting a different show tonight. It's such a privilege to be able to work with you. Thank you for being here. And our first song that we're going to do of the two is the Benedictus by Brian Lewis, and is Blessed Are You That Come in the Name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest.
No
for the day is going to be, of course, True Colors, and by Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly. And I invite you to rise and embody your spirit, and as Reverend Robin said, just keep singing. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged, though I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of evil. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
I'll invite our choir to stay if you can take hands, and everyone else who's able to take hands, those joining us online for this, our final blessings. And you know the refrain to this benediction. In a world that can make you crazy, in a world that can get you down, in a world that is hard to make sense of, here, hand to hand, and well beyond this room, when we are far from this place, in our hearts, remember, beloved, just keep singing. Amen. And blessed be.